Yaffee program on WVNN.
Trump is losing his patience over an Iran war with no clear end in sight. Apparently, there's an article here that says, this is where I would have been like 2 months ago, but all right, this is where Trump is today. President Trump was fed up. During a recent meeting in the Oval Office, he launched into a tirade against Iranian leaders, calling them scumbags and lunatics, and unleashing a series of expletives. That's according to a person who heard the comments. Golly, does everyone leak to the media? I just have to say, they can't have a meeting in the Oval Office. Or maybe it was on purpose. Maybe they wanted it leaked. Anyway, as the war in Iran enters its 5th month, Trump is increasingly frustrated that a conflict he once thought would be over in a matter of weeks has dragged on with no end in sight. That's what administration officials and others close to the president said. Now, some of Trump's advisors now worry that the war, which has resulted in higher prices, of course, falling approval ratings, and the deaths of more than a dozen U.S. service members, is consuming his presidency and damaging Republicans' already dim prospects in the coming midterm elections. The president in recent days has grown skeptical that negotiations with Iran can produce a lasting peace. I mean, it just took recent days. Like, his reaction here is where I was like 2 months ago. Here's more. It says, a senior administration official said Trump believes that the only thing Iran understands is military force, adding that he was in revenge mode against Tehran. The president, the official said, sees few good options besides continuing strikes. We're going to talk more about this. Like I said, Trump's instincts here are probably right. But the question is, what does it do for him politically? What does it mean for gas prices, everything else? Also, I have to react to a post, and I posted on social media, and I'm already seeing some of the reaction on my Facebook page. You want to like the Yaffee Facebook page to see this. But I got to react to this long tirade from Tucker Carlson on the war and give you my thoughts on it. He has basically turned into the blame America first radical. Everything is America's fault in the world. So, I mean, I'm sure you're not very surprised by this at this point, but we'll talk about it. You are listening to the Yaffee program. This is the show where you can count on the latest news, the important guests, and the best analysis, all for your morning commute here on News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. Coming up with the show, we'll get to the Alabama bullet points, top stories from around the state. Tommy Tuberville doubling down, tripling down, honestly, when it comes to data centers. The bottom of the hour, we'll speak with Brad Presnell. He is a political consultant. He wants to talk about something that Congressman Dale Strong was able to add to the National Defense Authorization Act, which he believes is a good thing, so we'll talk about that. Later on in the show, we'll talk with the legendary Will Hampson, who is the official D.C. insider of the Yaffee program. I'm sure we'll talk about the NDAA, the other funding package to prevent a government shutdown, the latest when it comes to the elections, everything else. So we'll get to that. And Walker is here producing once again, and she's going to do What's Trending later on. Walker, how are you today?
I confused myself this morning because I stopped to get breakfast and I got a sausage, egg, and cheese croissant. And usually I associate that with Burger King. Uh-huh. And there was a sauce on it. And I was like, I don't remember there being a sauce. And I tried Googling.
Let me guess, Wendy's?
Yes.
Yes. I knew it. I only know this because I've gotten the Wendy's sausage, egg, and cheese croissant, and they put like a sauce on it.
Yeah, apparently it's a Swiss cheese sauce.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I liked it. I was like, it looks like something I've never had.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, and their croissants, they look different than the Burger King ones.
Right, they do,
Burger King looks like a traditional croissant, where Wendy's, it almost looks like a bun more than a croissant.
Right, and it's square.
But it's yeah, that's right. But I like it. I've had Wendy's before. Their breakfast is pretty good. Their coffee's not the greatest, honestly.
Yeah.
But the food is good. Okay. But I had McDonald's this morning. A sausage, egg, and cheese muffin.
All right.
So we were almost on the same page today. But good. So you're not going to be hangry today?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Good. Good. All right, let me update more. And by the way, I want to get your reaction on the Yaffee text line, 866-494-9866. Okay, this is what Tucker Carlson said. And to do a little bit of background here, he was reacting to something that conservative host Ben Shapiro said. So Ben Shapiro said, no one in America wants American casualties. We do understand that war does come along with casualties. We're willing to undergo those casualties in pursuit of an end and for a victory. So Ben Shapiro's been strong on if we're going to do this in Iran, we need to make sure it's for absolute victory, that we crush the enemy here. That's kind of where I've been. Either do it or get out. But it can be a noble cause because Iran has done a lot of damage in the world, and they have killed Americans for 47 years now. So Tucker, who has changed a lot in recent years, hates Israel now. He is now officially a part of the Blame America First crowd. He is. Now, maybe some of you like that, but this is what he said in response. He said, obviously, this little freak, he's talking about Ben Shapiro there. He says, obviously, this little freak could go volunteer to fight the war himself. But of course, he won't. He's got no interest in making any kind of personal sacrifice. None of them do. Israel's finance minister bragged the other day that having American soldiers fight Netanyahu's wars is the best for us. He doesn't want to die for Israel. Neither does Ben Shapiro. So he's making the typical argument here that you hear really from the left. But the extreme right and the extreme left are merging on this issue in a lot of ways. But basically saying we're only in this because of Israel, which is not true. But that's what they're saying. Now, Tucker continues. He says, you've got to wonder how people like this, liars without honor, wisdom or loyalty to the United States, wound up in positions of such profound influence throughout our society. How did Mark Levin get the president's cell phone number? Now, what is Tucker getting at here? I'll tell you what he's getting at. He's implying anti-Semitic tropes. That's what he's doing here. Oh, it's the Jews somehow got influence in our society over American foreign policy. Now, I'll tell you how they actually got influence. Because they've been influential in politics for years. Mark Levin has a very successful radio show. He used to work for the Attorney General years ago. And it was actually through Rush Limbaugh who Mark Levin, that's how he got his start. So how did he get influence? That's how. But Ben Shapiro as well, he started from pretty much the bottom, just a really smart guy, but also went viral traveling to college campuses, debating. But then he was on Breitbart, you know? So I don't know. What are you getting at? How did they get such influence? What are you implying, Tucker? We all know what he's implying. But he continues on. Why is Admiral Brad Cooper, the man in charge of the Iran war, secretly taking strategic advice from crazed Israel shill Mark Dubowitz? It's also nuts and ultimately suicidal. Future generations will struggle to understand it. In the meantime, Trump will likely obey Ben Shapiro, as he has consistently for months. Now, that's not even true. Ben Shapiro was not a big fan of the Memorandum of Understanding. He was not a big fan of the ceasefire, of the middle ground limbo phase we were playing. So this idea that Trump has been consistent with Mark Levin, it's not even true. Like, why are you pandering to your extreme base, Tucker? But anyway, he said Trump will likely obey Ben Shapiro because every neocon victory is identical. Huge numbers of innocent people killed, disproportionately deepening authoritarianism at home. That's what they're demanding because that's what they want. What can we do to stop it? Apparently not much. But we can remember what happened and why so that history records the truth. Otherwise, when the war ends in disaster, as it inevitably will, Ben Shapiro will be able to blame you for it. Now, this is my question, because what this is blaming America, whether it's the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, whether it's our foreign policy generally in the Middle East for years. He's basically saying all of the problems we've seen in the Middle East are because of America, because of what we've done, because of our foreign policy. And I always find this amazing, because are we going to pretend that the Middle East was some kind of utopia before America ever got involved there? This is what always gets me. America, why was America there to begin with? Why was America in other places in the world to begin with? Usually it was in reaction to something. The fact is, there have been bloody struggles in the Middle East for what, thousands of years at this point? Well, yeah, almost thousands of years, over 1,000 years for sure. But these places were not utopias before America got involved. Not everything that happened in the Middle East, not every decision that was made there, not every bloody struggle or whatever was because of the United States of America. There are other reasons that these things happen, but to a Tucker Carlson, it's because of America. And anything America does must make things worse, which just isn't true. War is pretty bad, but they never talk about the alternative. What would the alternative have been if America didn't get involved? What would Iraq look like today if America never got involved? Do you honestly think it would be some great utopia today? The Arab Spring, look at Syria. Syria has been a disaster. Why? America didn't invade Syria. Why was it a disaster? The Arab Spring, there was a massive civil war. In fact, before we ever invaded Iraq, Saddam Hussein attacked Iran. There was a massive bloody war there where thousands of people were killed. That was before we ever invaded Iraq or Afghanistan. Afghanistan has had bloody wars for hundreds of years. So this idea that they were great places and America comes in and it's just death and destruction. No one ever talks about the good things America did, say, for Iraq. And how parts of Iraq are much better today. Talk to the Kurds in northern Iraq. They are much better off now than they were before America got involved. And usually it's when America recedes from the world, decides to leave its presence in the world, that things start to get bad. One of the reasons there was the rise of ISIS was because America was starting to leave Iraq. We decided we don't want to be involved anymore, so ISIS rises up in that vacuum. But maybe you disagree. I'm not saying America's foreign policy is perfect. No foreign policy is. We're talking about human beings. But they never talk about the alternative. They act like if America just didn't do these things, that the world would be just such a great and free and prosperous place. And usually that's not what happens. Usually these places were hellholes and problems before we ever got involved. And that's why we got involved to begin with. But maybe you disagree. A bunch of people on the Facebook page disagree with me, but maybe you disagree with me. You can tell me on the Yaffee text line, 866-494-9866, 866-494-WVNN. Move on to the Alabama bullet points coming up next as well. You're listening to the Yaffee program. Stay with us.
The Yaffee program.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
Part of what makes this show is the show within the show. The biggest topic on the show always seems to be the show itself. This is a way to give you clones a way to interact with one another. Yes, we will be going through the chat. Yes, it'll be a part of the program. The only thing that could ruin the show are the old school clones spitting up the same bull crap that they always have. The jungle is out taking names and ready to dominate. Let's get it.
The Jim Rome Show podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Hey, I'm Chris Van Vliet. Go behind the scenes and beyond the headlines with the biggest names in pro wrestling and beyond.
Mr. Sandman. All I ever wanted to be was a pro wrestler. So I got to live my life and make people really happy.
The Heartbreak Kid himself, Shawn Michaels.
Do you think there's anybody better than you were?
I think I was great at what I did, and I think other people were great at what they did as well. Greatness is more a mindset, I think, than anything else.
Mindset, motivation, insight with Chris Van Vliet. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.